Hi, welcome to part 2 of what's the difference between high school and college. So, in the last thing I said on part 1 is the syllabus for high school. And the syllabus for college is this. When you go to college class, you get a syllabus, and you're responsible to do what it says. Because it shows when it's the assignments, it shows when it's the homework, it shows when the tests are and exams are. So that way you can help yourself manage to know when you can do these things. In class, the professor is just gonna lecture. He's not gonna remind you of when the projects are due. It's not going to remind you when exams are, tests are. So the syllabus helps you manage yourself to do these things. You don't have to miss any of them. Managing yourself in college is a recommendation from me or anyone else. And it's great because you can help yourself organize better and know what you have to do, so that way you don't mess up. And that's the fourth reason. The fifth reason, what's the difference between high school and college, is this. The fifth reason is independence. Independence is huge part in college. It's also in school. But in college, there's more independent lifestyle than in high school. Like, an independence in high school is that you're independent to go to your class on time, independent to do your homework. You're independent to study, get ready for a test or quiz. And if your teacher sees you're struggling, the teacher will help you with whatever weaknesses you are and suggesting you what your mistakes are in this specific lesson. In college, you're independent for everything. You basically 100% independent. You're independent to hand out assignments. You're independent to be ready for tests or exams. If you're struggling with something, you're responsible to help yourself. But not the professor. The professor is not going to tell you what you're struggling or. You have to know what you're struggling or. And you have to be responsible for finding a schedule meeting with someone that can help you, like student services. It's your class, it's your grade, so it's yours and you're responsible for them. For transportation, you're independent to go to the college. You can either drive, get a ride from someone, use public transportation, or carpool. In school, you use the school bus to get to school and back home. In college, there's no such thing as like a bus like that. It's either those four reasons I told you. So, independence is a huge part in college, and that's the fifth reason of what's the difference between. Time management is the sixth reason of what's the difference between college and high school. In high school, basically you go to school, you go to class, it's class time, and that's where you learn. And sometimes you do projects, sometimes you do the tests or exams. and then you go home, you study, and you do your homework, and that's basically the time you have in school and outside of school. In college, it's so much different. College, you go to class and you just learn about the lecture. Classes in college can be up to 30 to 2 hours long, depending on what class you have. And then you go home or your dorm and you study. You do whatever projects you have to do, like typing an essay or research projects, preparing for a speech if you need to do a speech, reading, you need to read, understand the lesson. In college you spend more time working outside of class than inside of class, because in class basically you just listen to your professor and understanding the lecture, so that way outside of class you'll use this reference from the professor and you do whatever the syllabus tells you to do. So in school, a class could be an hour and 30 minutes, maybe an hour 15 minutes. If you work outside of school, it could be maybe the same amount of the class, maybe a little bit more. In college, it's probably 3 times or 4 times longer than the class, so you'll be working 4 or 3 times more work than in the class itself in college. And that's the 6th reason. So thanks for watching part 2, and part 3 will be last reason of what's the difference between high school and college. And thanks for watching part 2.